Hello, welcome to Showcase Digital Media. Nice to have you here. Today, you're going to be learning how to write an SEO optimized content that appears on Google's first page. My name is Elekwachi Betel, and I'm going to be your tutor for today. Within this training, you're going to learn exactly how you can write an SEO content that appears on Google's first page, and you're also going to be learning the important aspects of SEO content writing. This training is brought to you by Showcase Digital Media, and we hope that you like, subscribe, and share with your friends before you go further. We have 5 agendas that we are going to be covering today. These agendas include number 1, introduction to SEO writing and its terminologies. Number 2, search engine intent. Number 3, different SEO writing formats. Number 4, SEO content writing tools, and the last one, dissecting an SEO content. In the last aspect, which is dissecting an SEO content, you're going to see us firsthand where we are actually working on an SEO content, and we will be pointing out the different aspects of everything that we will be discussing in this course practically. You're going to see us doing it firsthand, and you're going to learn how to do it for yourself too. Learning outcomes. From what you learn in this training, you'll be able to write an SEO content for yourself, for your blog, and for your article. What you learn here would be sufficient for you to actually start a career in as a content writer. And as you go further, you begin to develop. You are going to get the basic informations and knowledge that you can use to actually write an SEO optimized content. Introduction. Today, we are going to try to be as beginner friendly as possible as we can so that everyone can follow along and learn along the way too. So, the first thing we'll be treating is SEO writing and its terminologies. So, what is SEO writing? SEO simply means search engine optimization. So, when you hear the word SEO writing, what it simply means is the process of writing content with the goal of ranking on the first page of search engines. Now, there are different search engines. We have Google, we have Bing, we have Yahoo, and we have lots more. But today, we'll be talking extensively about SEO writing on Google because Google is the most popular search engine in today's world. Understanding some key SEO terms. I've listed some SEO terms here for you to help you really understand what these terms are because you'll be hearing most of them when you begin your career as an SEO writer or when you start writing SEO. So these words would help you to fully understand what it entails, what SEO writing entails, and to understand what they mean so that when you come across them, you can fully explain it to somebody or use them for your own explanations. So what are long tail keywords? Long tail keywords are keywords or phrases that are more specific and are generally longer than more commonly used keywords or short or head keywords. Now, long tail keywords usually have 3 to 5 words within them, and they may or may not include the head term. So let me give you an example. For example, let's say our head term is digital marketing and we want to form a long tail keyword from that head term. Our long tail keyword may be something like how digital marketing works for beginners. Our keyword or head keyword there or head term there is digital marketing, but our long tail keywords has like 5 words within it, which is how digital marketing works for beginners. Short tail keywords. Short tail keywords sometimes could be referred to as the head term or the key or the head keyword. Now, short tail keyword is a short tail. It's known as short tail keyword because it is generally shorter than the long tail keywords, and it typically contains 1 to 3 words within it and covers a broad topic. In our previous example, we said that the long tail keyword was how digital marketing works for beginners, and the head term was digital marketing. So the difference between a long tail keyword and a short tail keyword is that with short tail keywords, there's higher volume, and with long tail keywords, there's less volume or search volume for those kind of keywords. But for short tail keywords, there's high search volume for those kind of keywords, but they are difficult to rank for. Now, an example of a short tail keyword could be something like digital marketing agency. So with this, you get a scope that the user is actually searching for uh, a broad list, a broad topic, or is searching on a broad topic, and it might be difficult to rank for short tail keywords. So the next thing we're going to talk about is SERP. Now, SERP simply means search engine results pages. Search engine results pages. Now, this is Google's response, or a search engine's response to a user's search query. Now, when you hear the word search query, do not be afraid. Search query simply means those questions you type on Google's search bar to actually get information on a topic. So, the search engine results page is the information you get as an answer or reply to your search query on Google's page or any other search engine's site. So SERP, or search engine result pages, usually include the organic search results, paid search results, or paid ads on their search engine, featured snippets, knowledge graphs, video results, images, news, and so on and so forth. So that is a little about SERP. So the next thing we're going to talk about is anchor text. Now, anchor text is a visible character and word that appears within a blog or an article. Now, let's say you want to link to another document or another website or another blog post within your own website. You usually use an anchor text. Now, an anchor text usually appears in a blue color and is usually underlined. Now, what happens is that, for instance, you have another blog post that you want to link to, which is, let's say, you're talking about digital marketing and you want to link to a digital marketing agency, where digital marketing agency was explained in another blog post or a document or so on and so forth. So what you do is that you highlight that text and you put a hypertext link at the back of that text. So when somebody reads your blog, the person sees that text as a blue link, as a blue colored text, and when they click on it, they are redirected to your topic um on digital marketing agency in your digital marketing blog post. So what happens is that text where you wrote digital marketing agency, that text with the link is what is called the anchor text. That's what is called the anchor text. So the next thing we're going to talk about is the meta description. Now, the meta description is actually a HTML tag that summarizes the web page's content. It's like a snippet of text, are often around 100 to 155 characters to 160 characters, that appears under the page, under the page title in search engine result page. Now, why I said it's usually between 155 to 165 pages, words or characters, is because it's between 155 characters to 160 characters. This is because if it surpasses 160 characters, Google usually cuts it out. So what your meta description does is that it gives your readers an overview of what they are likely to see in your blog post, in your article, or in your the results that your website will produce for them on the search engine. So those times when you're reading through a blog post, or you're reading through a search engine result page, and you see something like digital marketing, then on that you read something like learn digital marketing tips and hacks in how to do this, do that. So that text under it is what a meta description is. So you're going to be seeing these things, more of it, when we are going into the dissecting of an SEO content. So the next thing we're going to be talking about is heading tags. Now, heading tags are also called header tags. They are used to differentiate or separate between headings and subheadings on a web page or a blog post or your SEO writing, and they rank in order of their importance. Now, there are actually six levels of heading tags. There's heading tag 1, there's heading tag 2, down to heading tag 6. Now, heading tag 1 should always or usually be often be your title. Your title should usually be or often be your heading tag 1. Why? Your heading tag 2 could be um, headings within main headings within your blog post, while heading tag 3 could be subheadings. Now, usually the best practice is to use just heading tag 1, heading tag 2, and heading tag 3 in that order. Those three are usually enough for a blog post, but sometimes it depends on how complex what you're writing is, so you can include other heading tags, but most times it's okay to use heading tag 1, 2, and 3. Now, heading tag 1 usually applies to just your title, while heading tag 2 are titles or headings within the major headings within the blog post, while heading tag 3 is the subheadings within the blog post. So that's that for that. So why heading tags are actually important for SEO writing, because they actually improves the user experience and increases the readability of your content, because when people come in and they are just seeing a full block of text without anything breaking through it, it becomes difficult for them to read, and maybe they get tired and leave your site. So um, those heading tags breaks your work into a chunk of little text, so that people can actually flow with what they are reading and actually get breaks within the line. So heading tags also introduces a new aspect of your content. Let's say you're talking about digital marketing. You have a place where you wrote what digital marketing is, types of digital marketing, or components of digital marketing. So what it does is that what is digital marketing the would be a header in H2, heading 2, while types of digital marketing would be in a header 2, H2, H2. So why your major blog post, which is the digital marketing, would be in H1. So that's the order it usually follows, but it can be different for different people. So the next thing we're going to talk about is internal links and external links. Now, internal linking is when you link to another blog or another content within your blog, within your site. Now, those contents are owned by you, and you are just linking to them to offer more explanation or to give your readers a larger understanding of that topic. So what you use to do that is an anchor text with a link in it. So when they click on that anchor text with a link at the back, they are redirected to another blog post within your own website. Why external link is when you link out to another site. Usually it is advised that for your SEO, for your external linking to add SEO authority to your site, it should it should be linked to a site that has authority. Now, a site that has authority is a site that Google has recognized as a site that brings quality information to readers. Through its algorithm, it has understood this site as a site that brings quality information to readers. So, what this does for you is that when you link to a site that has an authority, it builds up your own authority and credibility, and it makes you more likely to have SEO returns from that. So you just like I want you to imagine it as you looking for a job and you're recommended by somebody, let's say the governor of the state, and somebody else is recommended by a teacher in a secondary school. So who do you think would have the higher likelihood to get the job? It's possibly going to be the governor, the person who is referred or recommended by the governor. So that's overview of how the SEO external linking works for SEO content writing. So the next thing we're going to talk about is keyword stuffing. Now, keyword stuffing is actually a black hat practice in SEO writing, it's a black hat practice. When you hear black hat, it means a bad practice or a wrong practice that that Google finds annoying or search engine finds annoying. So keyword stuffing is when you overload a website or a blog post or your content writing with a particular keyword just to manipulate search engines to actually rank your what you're writing on Google, and actually has repercussions if Google algorithm detects that your blog writing or your SEO content writing has keyword stuffing within it. So it's not advised to use to it's a bad practice to actually keyword stuff in your SEO writing. So the next thing is alt text. Now, what is alt text? Alt text is usually is usually used for an image or a video. Now, if you make some searches most of the time, sometimes you get results as pictures. So when you get result as pictures, what usually causes that is that the the writers of those blog posts or the people who put those pictures on the web actually put an alt text that matches what your search query was. Now, alt text is usually used on a web content to actually tell the search engines or the users what the image or what the content is all about. So let's say you put a picture of a man carrying a baby. So you can name that picture as man carrying baby. So when somebody comes on search engine and searches for something like man carrying baby, and the search engine result usually brings out a list of things, and maybe that's picture or content may appear on the search engine results page. So featured snippets. Now there are different positions on the Google's first page. You can have position 0, you can have position 1, you can have position 2, you can have position 3, position 4, now, and so on and so forth. So position 0 is actually the featured snippet. Now the featured snippet is usually those short snippets of text or short snippets of information that appears at the top of Google's search engine result page to offer quick and concise answers to the search queries. Now, feature snippets usually come as when Google finds your content or your SEO written content as credible and concise and straightforward, straight to the point, like it offers the exact answer that the searcher might be in need of. So Google uses its algorithm to select from a group of content within the first page. Sometimes it goes beyond the first page and it picks up a content that actually answers the user's query to the closest or nearest form, and brings it up to the top at point 0, and readers can actually see it as a featured snippet, which is not part of the normal result pages. And with a featured snippet, you're more likely to get more click through rates and more readers on or eyes on your SEO content. So that's that for that. And when we are dissecting an SEO content, I'm going to be showing you these things firsthand. So the next thing, so such as intent. Now, when writing an SEO blog post or an SEO content, one thing you should know is that every search query has an intent. Now, what does it mean to have an intent? What is the purpose? What is the most likely purpose for your searchers for your users search? Now, why is this? What is the reason behind this person search? Why is this person asking me this question? Or why is this person asking Google this question? So that's what we know we refer to as search as intent. Sometimes it's called users intent, keyword intent, or stuff like that. Now there are four major uh, types of searchers intent. There are four major types of searchers intent. There are four major types of searchers intent. Number one is navigational. Number two is informational. Number three is commercial. Number four is transactional. Now, commercial is also called investigation, or commercial is also called commercial investigation. Now, these four are different search queries, and you do not answer them in the same way. You do not write an SEO content around them in the same way. You write an SEO content around them in a different way. Now, because the reason why somebody will ask a question on Google that is navigational will not be the reason why somebody will ask a question that is transactional. So now you have to understand your searcher's intent when you start writing a blog post or an article or any SEO content writing at all on the web. So now the navigational, the user searches for a specific website. So let's say Sabaru website. That's an example there. Sabaru website. The person wants to Google to take him to a particular place. So it's navigational, like the name navigational. I want to go to somewhere. I want to go to this particular place. So the person already has an information about where he's going or where he's heading, and he wants to actually go there directly. So he just searches for something like Sabaru website. So the next thing is informational. Now the user wants information on a particular subject or topic. So let's say I want to buy a new car, and the first thing I want to understand is what a good car is about. So I'll just go there and type something like what's a good car or what are the criteria of a good car. So that is actually an informational search intent. Now, when you're writing this kind of thing, you have to, for an informational search intent, you have to be you have to explain uh, this information in a way that your user can find answers to their questions and be satisfied. So, in the case of what's a good car, you might talk about how you should know how to know a good car, tips to know a good car, qualities of a good car, features of a good car, and stuff like that within your SEO content writing. So now, commercial investigation. The user intent for a commercial investigation is actually someone is actually looking for options. Most of the time they're actually looking for options, or they are at this a stage on their buyer's journey where they want to emotionally and logically justify the his purchase, or a purchase he's about to make. So let's say, for example, I want to buy a car, Subaru and Nissan versus Nissan, or Innocent Motors versus Nissan, or whatever thing. Now I want to buy a vehicle. Now I want to compare these two vehicles so that I would be sure that I'm actually making the right decisions. So let's a searcher search for something like Subaru versus Nissan. That searcher is actually carrying out commercial investigation. So when you're writing an SEO content for a commercial investigative search intent or search query, what you should actually do is that you should actually write it as something like a review to actually give your user or reader the pros and cons around these different options he has, and allow him to make the choice. So you should write it in a way that gives him a clear understanding of what he's actually going to get from both options, and allow him to make the choice from what you have written. So the next thing is transactional. Now, transactional is when the user actually wants to make a purchase. Is actually when the user wants to make a purchase. He's ready to make a purchase. He has justified logically or emotionally the purchase is about to make, and now he's ready to make the purchase. So you see them use keywords like buy this, buy Subaru Forester, buy Nissan, buy Innocent, buy jacket, like that. Those keywords show you that this person is actually ready to purchase and is a transactional type of query. So if you're writing an SEO content around those types of query, what you should do is that you should try as much as possible to, if you're selling your product or stuff, you try as much as possible to make it easier for your readers to actually know how to make a purchase if they want to at that point, so that the whole essence of your SEO writing is met along that way. So now that we understand such as intent, let's go to the next thing. SEO writing formats. Now, there are different SEO writing formats. There are different SEO writing formats. There are how to write, how to articles, or how to SEO writing. There is listicles, there's pillar content, there's guide, there's reviews, there's why, who, what, there's news jacking. Now all these things have different are actually different. They are different in their own sense. They are actually and you they are different formats you use for writing an SEO content. So a how-to SEO for writing format would be different from a listicle. It will be different from a pillar content. It will be different from a guide, a review, who, what, newsjacking. But actually, sometimes they actually interchange within themselves, and you actually have some of them within each other. So how-to is when you're trying to uh, give your user it is like a done do it yourself blog post where you actually show your users step by step how to achieve a particular thing or how to do a particular thing. While listicle is usually when, for instance, a blog post like 30 universities in Canada, 30 universities in Canada for international students. So that kind of article is actually a listicle, because you're going to be listing those 30 universities, and you're going to actually be explaining or giving an overview of those 30 universities. Why pillar content is when you want to actually write comprehensively about a particular topic, and you link to other subtopics within that particular topic. So let's say I want to talk about digital marketing as my pillar content. So when I talk about digital marketing as my pillar content, I can have other content, SEO content around digital marketing that links back to this pillar content, and that this pillar content can also link to. So the pillar content is like the major content where everything is. Why it also has sub contents which it links back to. So that's the pillar content. So the guide, we have reviews. Reviews when you're talking about you're trying to review a particular between you review a particular product or review a particular stuff. It's just like when you're writing a book review, stuff like that. So yes, that's a review. So why, who, and what. We also have that. We also have news jacking. So newsjacking is when you're trying to write about a trending issue or topic that happened. You want to write about what's trending. You want to write about the news or stuff like that. So that's newsjacking. So let's go to the next one, which is SEO content writing tools. Now there are different SEO content writing tools, but I just listed some of them that you can use as a beginner or that are beginner friendly. So we have the Google Docs or MS Word. This is where you can type your SEO content and do your formatting, do your first draft, stuff like that. So Grammarly, we have Grammarly. Grammarly is for to actually make corrections on your written work, to actually check for grammatical errors, to actually check for a way to actually correct some words or stuff like that. So that's what Grammarly is for. Hemingway is also similar. So Hemingway helps you actually edit your content and makes your content stand out. Um, so you can also um, get some insights while using Hemingway too. So Answer the Public, you also have Answer the Public. You also have Quora. Answer the Public is for keywords research. You actually, if you want to actually get a list of keywords that people are searching for, you can actually use Answer the Public. You can use Quora too. Quora to do your research. You can also use Ahref to do your research, and some other. Ahref is actually more complex than just research. You can use it for other things too. So it's actually a great tool. So for your SEO content writing. So the next thing we are going to talk about now is dissecting an SEO content. Now this is where I want to show you how to do these things by yourself. I want to show you firsthand what it means like to um, write an SEO content. So we are going to be, but before we go into that, I want to show you some important aspects of the things you're going to be seeing. You're going to be seeing a keyword, what keyword is. You're going to be seeing what heading and subheadings are. You're going to be seeing what meta description are. You're going to see what links are, picture, graphics, or videos. You're also going to be seeing frequently asked questions and conclusion. Now, these are actually parts within an SEO optimized content, and I'm going to try as much as possible to break them down for you so that you understand them in the simplest form possible. So let's dive into the practical aspects for now. But before we go into that, I want you to kindly subscribe and hit the subscription button before we continue. So kindly subscribe and like and share. Let's go into the dissecting of an SEO content. See you there.